Today we're going to talk about the 6 reasons why you cannot grow your sales team. Okay, now my name is Michael Barayev. I built a sales team of over 150 plus sales guys in literally less than 2.5 years, and we did it with $0 invested. So what I want to teach you guys is very simple. Okay, when you hire people, okay, you're not just looking for anybody in the street just to hire. There's a process to when it comes to hiring. Like for us, we have a very extensive interview process. Okay, it's very extensive because my goal is not to just bring in anybody into the business. My goal is to just hire some random guy or just put him in my program and just teach him how to sell. I have a very strategic and creative way in how we actually bring people in and actually have them come through a process, go through our training, and then eventually stick through long term. So one of the main things you need to have is to have a recruiting system in place. And if you don't have a recruiting system in place, what's going to end up happening is that you're just not going to be able to build a team. That's the first mistake companies make. They don't have a recruiting system. You're probably depending on an outside recruiting firm. You're recruiting personally, meaning you're just finding people that you know in your network. And that may be amazing. That may work temporarily. But if you're trying to build a large sales team, you want to do it with a process and have a recruiting system internally. Not depending on anybody, but the team that you build internally. And it's very important to do that. And how we set it up is very simple. We have the interview process. Okay, we have the day of observation process, we have the hiring process, which is the onboarding process, and then we have the training process. And those processes give us a high return on our investment, and we end up putting people that we truly want in our business versus just putting some random Joey Schmoey into the company. Okay, so having that interview process done properly, having the day of observation process done properly, the onboarding and hiring process done properly, and then the training process done properly, we end up getting the top quality tier individual into our program, and they last for a very long time. Okay, and that's one of the first mistakes, not having a system when it comes to recruiting. Number 2 is that you're probably, and I've seen people do this all the time, people just hire based on skill set. Like they have a great skill set, they're gonna hire them. Or the third mistake is you just hire if they have a pulse. Like you'll just hire any sales guy, as long as they have sales in their background, you'll just hire them and just put them under their belt. Or if they come from a college background or athlete background, sports background, they're excited about just joining your company, you'll just let them in and kind of teach them the ropes. And we don't do things like that. I mean, I did that before and it kind of ruins the culture. It's very important to understand that when you just hire anybody into the company, it destroys what you're trying to do. And you're just letting everyone come in and everyone doesn't feel special when they're selected in the interview process. So when I recruit somebody in our process, we make sure that it's not just someone that has fog under their breath and can, just breathes. Like they have to have not just the skill set. We hire based on character. All right. And there's certain characteristics that we look for, and it can be different for every business. You got to pick yours. What are your value systems? What are your belief systems? And if you focus on those values and principles, what will end up happening is that you're going to magnetize the right people to come in and the wrong people to quickly come into the interview process and disperse. Okay. So it's very important you do that because, the fourth mistake is, not having the right culture. Because if you don't have the right culture to help you solidify those new people, to help you solidify the new batches of groups that you bring in, you're not going to end up growing the sales team. And you'll have as a revolving door, or I call it the U-Bowl syndrome, where you have people coming in and then they drop out. And you don't want that. You want people to come in and stick long term, because in order for you to go from 0 to 5 to 10 to 20 to 30 to 100 plus sales guys, if that's what you want to do, you have to have a system that glues people and keeps people together. And if you don't know how to do that, it's just going to be a revolving door business for you, which is what I've heard a lot of companies tell me in the beginning. Oh, sales is a revolving door business. And I was like, why is that? Like, why? How do I change that? Which I'll probably make another video on that, like what you can do to not make your business a revolving door. It's going to be a great video. But I mean, just think about it. Like every other sales company is a revolving door business, and it sucks. People come in, people come out. So you don't want that. So having the right culture is extremely important. Okay. Number 5 is you don't track your numbers. Like for example, I track how many ads we have, and we figure out which ads are producing the right results, how many interviews come in, right? Because the recruiter books a certain amount of phone calls. So how many she's booking, how many show up, how many don't show. We track all of that. Then we show, then we track on, okay, the interviewers, whether it's the managers or the partners or whoever, that they're booking, day of observations, how many are showing up, how many are not. Like we're tracking all that data. We're tracking all the statistics because I want to know what's the percentage. And what I've realized is that, if you're around a 50 to 60% from your recruiter booking an interview to actual show, that's an amazing recruiter. And if you have a 50% show from the actual interview showing up to a day of observation, that's a 50% ratio. That's a good ratio for the person doing interviews. So you kind of have a gauge and a pulse on your business, knowing exactly, all right, what are the numbers, what are the statistics for my group? What are the statistics for this section? What is the problem? Like, why am I not having enough sales guys coming in like this month? Because if you want to hire 10 sales guys, it's a numbers game. And it's not just throwing mud against the wall. There's a process to it, and tracking it properly is extremely, extremely important, okay? And the last thing is the daily training. I had someone ask me a couple hours ago, hey, Michael, do you do, daily training? Because me and my team, we only do it twice or 3 times a week. And I said, absolutely. Every single day is training. Monday through Friday. Saturday, Sunday, we spend time with the team. We have fun. We do what we need to do. But every single workday, we are showing up to the office together as a team. They're not required to show up, but they want to show up. They're educating themselves. They're growing. And we have a big emphasis. One of our values and principles is growth. Education, learning, being a better version of yourself, being a 2.0 version of you. Because the better you become, the better the business becomes. The better they become, the better our business becomes, and we grow together as a squad and as a team. So it's very, 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 very important to have that culture and also have that daily training, daily meetings every single day. And the meetings cannot be boring. Like, I know that I've been to a lot of business meetings and I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait for this guy to just shut up. You don't want that. You want to have a business meeting and you want to have impacts, you want to have modules, whatever you want to call them. You want it to be impactful so that the people that show up, they're excited, they're motivated, they're pumped up, not just externally with external energy, but they are learning things that they can apply in the field. They're learning things they can apply on the phone calls. They're learning things they can apply in their business. And when you have that kind of culture and that kind of training system in place, what'll end up happening, your sales team is going to glue together and stick. And I'm going to give you a bonus one. Okay, which is the 7th one. I'll give you a little bonus, is relationships. If you want your business to grow and you want your sales guys to stick, relationships. Connections. If you have Joey recruit Bobby, what's in between them is that connection, that relationship. That gap between them needs to be closed as possible. Why? Because the more people connect and build relationships, the longer that person can stick in the business. And it's all about building those relationships. And how do you build a relationship? If you don't know the answer to that, the answer is very simple. You serve them. You serve them. You do more for them than their families will do for them. You do more for them than their friends will do for them. You drive them home. You take them out. You invest in them. You take time out of your life and you invest in their life. And I promise you, that's a separating factor of having a sales team and having an amazing, great sales team that we call a SEAL team. And for you to have that, it's all about the relationship. So that's the 7th bonus. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. If you could just, subscribe down below, share this with a friend so you can impact them, share this with your sales guys, share it with somebody that you're working with, whether it's your manager or whatever, so we can start growing this channel. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to building teams and building sales teams, this is the channel for you to go. This is the place for you to learn, grow, and invest in yourself. So I appreciate you guys. Subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.